So if his chin ever pops up and as you're controlling him, your hand should always be ready to shoot in the position to finish. Right? But it's tough when, tuck your chin, when people bury their chin and they're really good at hand fighting, so it's very hard for you to ever even get around the neck. Right? This is when you're going to start to use other submissions. Your two sort of strongest submissions from here, other than the rear naked, are going to be the back triangle and the arm bar. Right? So for both of these, in general, you need to be on your side with your choking arm on top. And I want this Kimura grip, either with the head or without the head, but you want this Kimura grip for both of them. Right? So in general, what I like to do is always make sure you get a long hook across. Right? I'm gonna switch to that Kimura grip without the head. So I bring my hand all the way over, I just throw my tricep in front of his face and lock the grip. You can control people for a long time with this. Right? It's very hard for me to turn this way because I have control of my arm is blocking his head, and it's very hard for me to turn that way because I have complete control of his shoulder and arm. Right? So first what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna step on his hip, I'm gonna push him down a little bit. Now connect your hands. And most of the time the person will have their hands connected. So what I wanna do is I'm gonna get my knee above his shoulder, like right up next to his head, and I'm gonna bring my foot inside of his arm. Right? So if you have a really strong triangle, you're gonna push him low, bring your knee up to his head, and then bring your ankle over to his wrist. So I like to try to get inside of the elbow here, but a lot of times if it's tight, you're gonna be on top of the wrist. I'm gonna lock, cross my feet onto his wrist. I'm gonna curl real hard with my heels and pull to separate his grip. Once you separate his grip, you wanna pull his arm up above his head so you can just maintain this Kimura grip, or you can switch to 2-on-1 on the elbow like this. Now I'm gonna bring my leg tight over the neck. You can step this foot on the hip and use it to turn to the other side. Curl your leg super tight around his neck. I want my head completely in line with his head, so I'm not back here. You're gonna be crunched, so you should be looking straight down at his head. You bring both feet to one side of his body, and then lock the triangle. And if you can't, it should be fairly easy for you to finish the choke from here, but sometimes it's off by a little bit. You can attack his arm. Right? You have a lot of different things you can do on his arm. Right, so whenever you're on the back, try to get this 2-on-1 control. Keep your head close. Choking arm is on top. The bottom foot comes across. You want to push his head down a little bit and get high up on his body. You'll see if you're low, it's going to be almost impossible to get your leg over his shoulder. Once you push the person down and bring your knee up high, it's fairly easy, even with short legs, to get your foot in here. You're going to cross your ankles over his one arm, curl your heels down tight into his chest, and you're going to pull on the wrist to separate his hand. Try to get his hand up above his head. With your leg tight around the neck, and this foot can just step on his hip or even on the floor. I'm going to push and turn to the other side. Leg comes tight around the neck. Lock the figure 4. And you got the choke or the arm bar. There will be times too where you can't pull on my leg. He's pulling on my leg, so I can't really lock a good figure 4. You can always just go to attack his arm from here. So anytime you have control of his head and shoulder with your legs, you can attack his arm. Good. Start 2-on-1 grip. And the way you can get this is even with the person's chins up, you tap their neck, their hands comes up to the front, and then you can secure their arm. Bring the long hook across, push them down, bring your knee up to your own elbow, so it'll make it easy for you to flip your foot inside, cross your ankles, back heel hard, pull, separate the hands. Right? From here, the leg tight to the neck, you can step this foot on the hip, turn, both feet come to the other side. All right, 1, 2, 3.